Let's do this. This is a fun idea. Who are your dream opponents? Let's say 5. Do you have 5 dream opponents for either FTR as a tag team or you as a single or combined, just off the top of your head?
I guess it is kind of fun now to think, because I haven't done it this year at all. But
because really, if you truly haven't made a decision, this top 5 could be people that you might actually, and it could be anybody in the entire world, you know, that you want to wrestle, you know?
Okay. So 5 to pick a top 5. I don't know if I have time to, and it could change, dude. It could change tomorrow. It might change by the end of this episode. I don't know. But I don't want to put them in order because that would take too long. But throwing out 5 names right now that I would love to have a match with, tag team and singles. I would say first, let's start with the singles. And I would say probably Gunther, maybe number 1.
Ooh, that's
yep, I've watched a lot of his stuff this year, and I missed out on a lot of the independent stuff he did overseas a while back because I was just traveling so much. But I've watched a lot of his stuff, and I think he and I could do some good business, dude. I think that we both know who we are, you know, and I don't think we're going to step outside that realm of who Gunther is and who Dax is. And, you know, he's a hard hitter, and I, you know, enjoy hitting hard as well. So that would be one of them. I think a second one would be a tag team match. And this one, I hope they don't mind me saying this, but this is more possible than a lot of people might think. But me and Cash, FTR against Edge and Christian. That's a tag team match I would absolutely love to have.
Whoa.
Those 2 guys are 2 of the best storytellers in the ring. And I don't think that's an overstatement or overrating them. I think a lot of people think that as well. They're incredible storytellers. And I think that they led a generation. They were one of the leaders of a generation of tag teams. And I would like to think, humbly speaking, I would like to think we're one of the leaders of a generation of tag teams. So that would be number 2, Edge and Christian.
2 down, 3 to go.
Yep. So let's go overseas. And I would say Ishii would be one of my dream opponents. I think that,
wow.
Yeah, we're both miserable, bald bastards. And I think we have the same, I don't want to say the same ideology on wrestling because we don't. Doesn't mean one's right or wrong. So let's skip the headlines there. I think we have at the core, we are similar. And then when we expound and go outside of the box, we're different. And I think that would make for a great stylistic wrestling match. And I would love to work with Shingo. Again, the same kind of dynamic as Ishii. Incredible seller, just like Ishii. I think he's a great seller. I think Shingo's a great seller. When it's time to when it's time to again explode and bring the match up to a feverish pace, he knows when to do that. He also knows when to bring it down, and he knows the importance again of selling. And he's a hard hitter, and his strikes are crisp. His punches, his kicks, his lariats, everything's there, dude. And that to me is a sign of a great wrestler. When you're a great seller and you don't skip over the basics, you know what I mean? And you don't forget the small details just to go to the big details.
You got one more.
Drawing a blank here. Let's see.
Is there another tag team?
There is another tag team. Yes, there we go. I've told you about this one before. And it may not, I think it could be, and this is, again, humbly speaking, I think it could be a dream match. We've seen the match before. We've had 2 matches with them on television before. I think it's just 2 matches, one at a pay-per-view and one on Raw. And I love the Raw match. And I'll try to get that date to you for the Raw match so people can go back and watch it. It was only about 9 minutes, so it's not a classic or anything, but I did love the match. We made the people believe in us, which was very hard to do at the time. But I think right now, us versus the Usos could be the ultimate tag team match because the two teams have grown so much, you know, and I think we've hit our peak as a team, as characters, as athletes. I think our promo work has hit a peak. I think, again, our character work, our gimmicks have hit a peak. I think our athleticism, and we understand the psychology, that would be the match. If you could take these guys who are these badass Samoans, right? These badass Samoans who will fight anybody in a second.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. And you take these other guys, the who on the surface are polar opposites from these guys, but two badasses from the South who will fight you in a second. And you put that in there for that's a combustible element, man. And I think that with the Usos, with where both of us are in our careers right now, could be maybe one of the greatest tag team matches, at least on the thought, in the thought, on the surface of it, it could be. I think it could be a generational tag team match. So that's it. Those are my 5 dream matches, and 2023. Those are my 2023 dream matches. There we go.
Well, with how your 2022 went, man, you could make it all happen. Like, I mean, if you looked back at 2021 and said, "Hey, you're gonna face CM Punk and Will Ospreay and Cash and all these different people," there's no telling what can happen in the future.
And dude, the crazy thing is about that is our 2022, I don't think that we even scratched the surface of what we could have done or what we could have been. I believe that there were different factors that happened, but our momentum probably didn't get taken advantage of the way it could have been. So I think there's a lot of meat left on the FTR bone, you know, and I think that going into 2023, it should be, and this again goes back to the decision we're going to have to make, again, from my heart and from my brain. I've got to think the right way, but I've got to make sure this 2023 eclipses 2022, you know, and we have the opportunity to pick and choose what we want to do, where we want to go. And with that, I got to think of the money. I've got to think of the creative. I've got to think of time at home. I've got to think of what my best friend wants to do. So there's a lot of things that I got to put into this. We both have to put into this decision. But 2023, we have got to make sure it eclipses at least rivals 2022, because eclipsing it's going to be very, very, very hard. But we could rival. I think if we are given the opportunity, we could rival 2022, and that's why 2023 is so important. And those are my dream matches for 2023.